Hey guys, Joe from American Trucks, and today we're going to be working with the Barricade Extreme HD Grille Guard in black, fitting all 14 and 15 Silverado 1500s and 14 to 18 Sierra 1500s. Now, something like this is going to be perfect for any Silverado owner out there looking for full width protection and aggressive presence for the front of their truck for a reasonable price. Now, this is going to be the end-all be-all in protection for the front end of your truck, right? So this is going to be your full width, unlike push bars or bull bars, which stop right at the bumper. This is going to come up to the top of the grille. It's also going to span the length of the headlights and even wrap around a little bit to protect on the side. And it does that with some heavy-duty carbon steel plate and tube, which is definitely going to be able to take a hit for your truck. Up at the top here, we have a 48mm diameter cross tube, and the wall thickness is going to be about 1.5 millimeters, so definitely going to be able to stand up to the abuse. It also features a black powder coating, which is not just there to add to the looks, but it serves as a layer of protection from the elements as well. To be honest, it does clash a little bit with the chrome on our 14 Silverado, but this would look absolutely menacing if you were going for the blackout look on your Silverado or Sierra. We also have some added utility here with these integrated uprights. They have a flat surface on the front, so that's going to be perfect if you need to push something around with your truck. You otherwise wouldn't damage the rest of the grille guard. We also have this wire mesh right here in front of the grille. Now that's there to prevent a stick or brush from potentially getting through your grille and damaging your radiator, leaving you stranded on the trails. Now, pricing for the Barricade Extreme here is going to come in right around that $400 mark, which makes it one of the most cost-effective on our website. Usually a full width option like this one hovers anywhere between $600 and $900, so you really are getting a decent deal for what you get. Install for this isn't going to be too bad. It is a little bit involved, and if you don't have tow hooks, you will need to make some modifications to allow you to get to the frame rails. But other than that, it's all pretty straightforward. Can be done with some basic hand tools in the driveway. I'm gonna give it an easy 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Should take at most an hour or 2 to get this hooked up to your truck. So without any further ado, let me show you how it's done. Tools required for this install are going to be an impact, ratchet, extension, 18mm wrench, 16mm wrench, 13mm ratcheting and regular wrench, U-joint, 5mm Allen key. This one does come in the kit, but I use mine on the impact just to speed things up. Trim panel removal tool, 7, 10, 16, and 18mm sockets. So we're gonna start our install here at the lower mounting brackets. Now, our lower mounting brackets are going to completely replace our tow hooks here. If you don't have tow hooks from the factory, don't worry, all the hardware you need is included in the kit. However, you will have to make that small rectangular cut there right in the lower bumper plastic. But if you do have tow hooks like our truck does, you can follow exactly how we're gonna do it. It's held on with a couple 18mm bolts, and we're gonna use the 18mm wrench and an 18mm socket as well as the U-joint. It is pretty tight back there. We're gonna remove all that and pull our tow hooks out. This bolt in the rear here is threaded right into the tow hook, so we're just gonna use the socket to get that out. And this bolt in the front here does go all the way through, so we got the wrench on the other side, socket on this side. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the driver's side. So now we can get started installing our lower mounting brackets. This is just going to sit on the bottom of the frame rail right like that, and then we're gonna secure it with this double bolt plate here. That's gonna go in like so, and then there's a single bolt plate for the other side. Now we're gonna get our new hardware on that flat washer, lock washer, 18mm nut, and do the same thing with the single bolt plate for the other side. Now this bolt right here is a little bit tough to get to. I can't even get the box end of this wrench in there, let alone a fancy ratcheting wrench or the impact. So we're gonna have to go a little bit old school here and just use the open end of the 18mm wrench. This side, thankfully, not as tough to get to, so we're just gonna use the impact, then we're gonna head over and do the same thing for the other side. Now you might have noticed that this bracket is not mirrored, and that's intentional. They're actually the same thing for the passenger side frame rail and the driver side frame rail, so this bolt plate is always going to be on your right if you're underneath the car. Now we're gonna move on to the other half of our lower mounting bracket. Now these are driver and passenger specific, but they are marked right on the bottom here. With a D or a P, just make sure you have the right one. This is going to sit underneath of that bracket we installed first, and then thread in from the top with some of the 13mm hardware included in the kit. Now we are gonna have to reach into our frame rail to tighten that down, but thankfully we can use the 13mm ratcheting wrench. As tempting as it may be to start with this front bolt here, start with the back two. That's going to make it easier for you when you get the wrench in there. Here's a better view of why we started with those back two. Obviously, if this bolt head was there, it would be really tough to get a wrench past that to tighten those back ones down. So that's going to be it for our lower mounting brackets. Now we're going to move on to our upper mounting brackets. Now they're going to use a support brace behind our grille here to secure our grille guard to the truck. So we're going to need to do a little bit of a disassembly up top. First, we got to get this plastic radiator cover out of the way. It's held on by a bunch of push pins. I'm going to use a trim panel removal tool to remove those, and we can pull that off. That's going to reveal 4 10mm bolts. We're going to get those out of the way as well. Then we can lift that off of the truck. So here are those 4 bolts right behind this chrome lip here. They're all 10mm. We're gonna get those out of the way. Now there are still a couple of 10mm bolts on the bottom edge of the grille that are holding our grille on. They're underneath this body color piece right here, and it's held on by a 7mm bolt, one on either side. So we're gonna get these bolts out, and then we can peel this body color piece off, and that will reveal the rest of the hardware holding the grille on. Now to get this started, all we're going to do is peel back like that, and that should work for the rest of this piece as well. Now, just like on top, we have clear access to those 4 bolts across the bottom. Again, they're 10mm, and you're gonna need some sort of extension to get to them. Now we can pull the grille off, and then we'll be able to see those support braces for our upper brackets. So right here is going to be that brace that I've been talking about so much. And all we're going to do is make sure we have this bracket right here with the D on it. We're going to start with the driver's side, pull that up right about there, put that over top, and secure the two together with a 10mm bolt. Comes included in the kit. And then we're going to do the same exact thing for the passenger side. Now we're just going to put our grille back on and do a test fit to make sure everything lines up. Now I'm just going to poke our driver's side bracket through, and it looks like we're pretty much bang on. You want to make sure that your bracket is going to land in this hole in the grille right here. Now in order to get this half of the bracket secured, we're just going to pull our grille back a little bit, then put our bracket in place and tighten down that 10mm hardware to get the two brackets together. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other side. Once that's tight, you can press the grille back in place. Now we're going to do the whole grille disassembly in reverse to get it back together. Again, there's 4 10s across the bottom here. Then we're going to put that body color piece back on and hit the 7s in each fender well. 4 more 10s across the top. Then we're going to put that plastic cover back on, push all those push pins in, shut the hood, and hang our grille guard. So we have the 4 10s in across the bottom and this body color piece on. We're just going to re-secure that with that 7mm bolt here. And do the same thing for the other side. Now we're going to move up top and get the 4 10s, then put our plastic cover back on. And lastly, we can get all of our push pins in place. Now we're going to lift our grille guard in place, and this thing is pretty heavy duty. I definitely recommend you guys grab a buddy for this step. I enlisted my pal Andrew here. He's going to help me line this up and lift it in place. Once we have it seated where we like it, we're going to get it started on the bottom with the 16mm hardware and the button head bolts up top. Ready? Yep. There we go. Now we're going to get all the hardware started on the other side, get this situated and lined up correctly, then run through and tighten down all of it. Now again, make sure this is aligned where you want it, because we're now going to lock in the position by tightening the bottom 16mm nuts and bolts. Now for the top bolt here, this button head is going to take a 5mm Allen key. I have mine on the impact just to speed things up. Again, there is one of those included in the kit. And we got a nylock nut on the other side. That's going to take a 13mm wrench. And that is going to do it for my review and install of the Barricade Extreme HD Grille Guard in black, fitting all 14 and 15 Silverado 1500s and 14 to 18 Sierra 1500s. Thank you for watching. I'm Joe. Make sure you subscribe for more videos like this and all things Chevy and GMC.